Welcome back to the English broadcast of the LPL. We are week 7, day 1 right now. We're about to be rounding out the evening very shortly. If this is a 2-0 over to the opponents of FPX, who is currently escaping my mind, Rogue Warriors, because they destroyed that game so quickly. It was completely out of my mind. I didn't even know we'd started the second series of the day, Raz, but I actually want to focus on FPX coming into this segment, because talking about them and their growth so far in the split has been fantastic. However, it's not enough now to face down against the likes of, an Invictus Gaming or like a Rogue Warriors. There seems to be a big disconnect there, but they have cemented themselves as a middle-of-the-pack team.
Yep, so a lot of it would just be around the fact that they've focused towards bottom side of the map to be their kind of pressure point alongside the Kazakhs. So that's nice of them, but I just want to see Gimgoon style. That's what I really want to see on him, because he showcases so much strong team fighting from the team, constantly picking up Vladimir, even if it's in a bad matchup. I just want to see him have some early game impact champion, so you can play around that really early on. So Sion is a big one. Now, it was banned in the last game by FunPlus Phoenix. I would love the fact if they can pick up Sion for themselves. Sure, it's a tank, but it's still something you can play towards and allow Pepper to invade a little bit with.
Yeah, there was also the Camille ban and the Swain ban as well, obviously targeted towards Gimgoon, because we know he has a very big champion pool, and he can also focus towards the early game. He was also very much a split pusher in days past, but it just seemed like he is almost always moving towards the Vladimir later on, and we did have this criticism of FPX. It seems like they are constantly drafting losing lanes specifically into the top side.
Yeah, so Vladimir is great if you can find yourself a proper lane with it, but it's oftentimes he is finding himself in an early game deficit. I would like to see him start off on the proper foot.
Yeah, maybe that's the way that FPX find their way into this series and indeed into this next game. We'll see if that's the case as we send it over to our casters for the second game.
Now it's time to get into that game 2. Thank you so much, dudes, because we've got Rogue Warriors getting back on stage. I don't know if you guys could see in the background of that shot, they had the picture-in-picture of SMLZ.
Yeah, because one's not enough.
Face.
You need to look at him and then look at him again.
Yeah.
And notice all of those emotions, Dom.
The face of a cold-blooded killer. And, of course, sitting next to him, the most emotive person in the entire league.
But that's why they work so well.
Yeah.
And that is why Rogue Warriors actually work so well. Emotions aside, of course, we're not talking towards the personalities of each respective player, but Doinby, the perfect fit for Flawless and for SMLZ. It does feel like this team has been handcrafted to near perfection, of course.
Yes.
Not complete perfection. They aren't even first place in the league at the moment.
Well,
but it works so incredibly well when all the guns are firing at the same time. And they definitely were. The Pistons were rolling in game 1.
They're just a few wins away from becoming the best team in the league. Of course, that we have them in the conversation speaks to their skill. But now we've entered pick and ban for game 2 between FPX and Rogue Warriors. And with side selection, Rogue Warriors have chosen to take red side in this. And when you look down the line at so many talented players, counterpick makes a lot of sense.
And of course, to clarify, FPX also chose blue. So each respective team will not change on the sides of the Rift at the moment. They will just be sticking to blue and red respectively. And that fits Rogue Warriors to a T, getting counter picks. And not just for their mid laner anymore, like it used to be with Doinby, but SMLZ getting those last rotations, getting those counter picks. Mouse also with the capabilities of doing that. And FPX, they like to prioritize the stronger champions, and they do exactly that.
Sion locked in for Gimgoon in the top lane as he decided to ban away the Vladimir. Now, this could be a bit of a flex. We've seen it in the mid lane, but likely going to Gimgoon. He's played it before. He's something that he's comfortable with. That being said, Doinby immediately says, rise, rise, done, done.
I think the major priority here from FPX is that Sion does not go over to Rogue Warriors in any capacity. And so yes, Gimgoon will most likely be the person playing it. Bing does play the Gallios, plays the tank, so yes, it can flex there, but it should be Gimgoon. Meanwhile, you definitely don't want to give it to Doinby, who will run amok in the middle lane.
And still, we're looking now for the answer as Alistair locked in for Killua. Bing looking at that Talia roaming mid lane or something that he's flexed on before. His first few weeks into the LPL haven't been great, but so far since the new year, he's really found momentum with the team. This could be an opportunity for him to try to push Doinby out and claim that lane control.
Yeah, again, something we're continuing to see with FunPlus Phoenix is their inconsistencies of their individual player strength, and it feels like perhaps communication is the biggest reason for it, but at the same time, Bing has made individual mistakes. LWX always makes individual mistakes with his propensity to just flash forwards every single time. The only one that's been consistent right now, it does feel like Gimgoon, but in saying that, he picks inconsistent champions that aren't going to have consistent performances on the Rift, so that's another thing that plagues them constantly.
Varus locked in to answer against that Tristana for LWX. Another comfortable champion for the two. As that Gwynsu's will be turned around, we're still looking for counterpick for Flawless and Mouse in this next phase. That being said, We know Talia's going mid, so that's Sion up top, unless Sion's support somehow managed to return to the meta when we weren't looking.
Hey, don't discount it as a possibility. Though I doubt it.
Yes.
Of course, you're seeing even from Rogue Warriors bans Tarek to be removed. Braum may even follow closely behind as well. Ardent Sensor is a possibility behind why Tarek's are always banned, but also just consistent healing when attacking tanks is something that Tarek will always excel at, being able to provide lower cooldowns on the heal and the shield, just constantly dishing out protection for your team, and the ultimate being the biggest game changer of all. So it makes you wonder what they're looking towards here, Rogue Warriors. The Tarek gone, the Braum is expected removed. What kind of damage are they going to be laying down? And is it something a little bit cheesy, like perhaps that Rumble in the top lane that wants that one big hit that a Tarek would so aptly counter?
That said, there's a lot of mobility and escape on the likes of FPX. We'll have to see what it's going to be. As you said, Tarek and Braum stricken away. Final ban away from Rogue Warriors is Flawless's Kha'Zix. Alrighty, Flawless. We talked about the eulogy of Lee Sin, and he goes for Olaf. So, decides that he's going to single-handedly bring up the win rate of that champion for the LPL with his first game-on win, and Shen locked in for Crisp.
Yeah, Shen gonna get secured. Now, if we really wanted to talk towards the Sion support, now's the moment for it. But let's not actually dwell on Shen when a Kindred has been locked in here.
Hold the phone.
You know what? It's like the budget Tarek. They've locked themselves in the same thing. Invulnerability, just in a giant circle this time. Pepper sees the Olaf and raises. Pretty much goes all in with this decision, commits to the Kindred. And you don't often see that, but Kindred does have a lot of strengths.
Now the follow-up, though, for Mouse is Maokai in the top lane, but what in the what? Quickly allow me, provide me with this information. Kindred hasn't seen professional play in a while.
Well, the first thing you have to hit, Dom, is that their composition is completed, and I would call that a never die composition, except for the Sion. You've got a Shen ult, and you've got a Kindred ultimate as well. Tristana will be dealing a bulk of the damage then. In saying that, I don't know how important it is for Triss to be jumping around when they do need to stay very still for the Kindred ultimate to work.
Zone control.
It's a third carry for the team by having the Kindred there. Someone else that can apply physical damage as well. Something that may work very well, in particular though, against the Olaf. And the reason that it works so well against the Olaf is that he uses everything, he front loads all of his engage, and Kindred could stand and trade autos, just kite back constantly. And when things get dire, yes, the Olaf benefits from being low health, but no one dies even if he's low health, because everyone stays there due to the invul.
Yeah, and then the Lamb's Respite heal just resets the whole fight. And with the likes of that, able to turn things around. Rogue Warriors, they've still got lots of crowd control. They've still got a lot of setup if they manage to find the positioning and force the fight, but it's a single button that could deny that opportunity for Rogue Warriors to stack up and pick someone off.
Yeah, certainly could. Of course, Rogue Warriors with their complete team composition. They've got an Alistar, they've got a Maokai, so they've got a very good tank line. They've got the potential of a flank if Maokai ever teleports to those positions, something that Mouse does do quite well. Then they've got a Ryze and a Varus that will be dishing out majority of their damage. Once you hit the mid game, once you hit the late game, of course, Olaf does contribute a ton early. But right now, with that composition, with a decent front-to-back team fighting style that they have, with a lot of mobility they have from the Ryze ultimate's flanks, they can FedEx Mouse into the backline if they want for some easy flanks. There's a lot of creativity in their composition, but they're against a wildcard, a spanner in the works, and who better than FunPlus Phoenix to be the ones throwing that spanner at Rogue Warriors?
A creative pick for FPX. The question is, will it be enough to take them to Game 3, or will Rogue Warriors close us out here and now?
They don't love anyone.
There is no longer love in the stadium. A tragedy, but one that will not be forgotten. That is the first Kindred here in the LPL, no surprise, as it is a very uncommon champion to see, heck, even in solo queue.
I think the only Kindred that I have seen is actually from the Oceanic Pro League. I was watching Juice play it. So.
Still, we already see some initial trading onto Bing on top of a ward as Ferris just steps forward. Pepper already marking his target onto Flawless, who, again, taking that undertow with blue. The same side starts for these teams. We'll see if Rogue Warriors, particularly Flawless, goes for the same route, or if he decides to change things up in this game too, as he now knows he is being hunted.
Yeah, now one thing that Kindred's always run into with a spot of trouble is their mana pool, generally hopping around a lot, but you will expect him to be starting on the red side. My question here is if he goes from red to Raptors to blue buff, or he just goes red to blue and does a half clear and then contests the Scuttle Crab as well. Of course, Kindred, note, definitely wants to go to Scuttle Crabs early, as she is designed to get the marks. and constantly output that extra damage that she gets from that. So it's a bit of a lucky dip with where she goes, and as you can tell, red to blue, prioritizing that mana, that level 3 and topside Scuttle Crab, on the chance that that is her Scuttle.
Flipping the coin on whether or not that's going to be early on. Shadow Dash connects with SMLZ as he just trades some auto attacks with the Aftershock. Meanwhile, LWX will also step forward. That fleet footwork should provide a bit of regeneration. Scuttle Crab going to be coming up very shortly.
And Kahlua also stomped the ground in frustration down there in that bottom lane, Dom. The Shen does need to be aggressive early, does need to make that work super early before the Alistar starts to turn online. As we are going to take a second, of course, to look at the runes here for Pepper. Gone towards Precision in the primary tree. The 3-hit passive, of course, makes the most sense. You don't really need the fleet footwork, the extra healing as Kindred by any means, though the move speed would have been nice to have, and then domination in the second.
And look at the immediate pathing towards that Scuttle Crab. Guess who's on the way to match it? Flawless steps forward.
Oh, you know it's going to happen.
Might have been spotted by Bing. They're even bringing Crisp up there.
Yeah, Shen's here. Talia also has the inside track on the middle lane. This is a 5v5 at any moment.
Oh, Flawless pulls the trigger first. He steps forward immediately and flashes over the wall. He knows that support was missing, but take a look at this. Kahlua steps up. Both of the mid laners in there. It is everyone as Shadow Dash lands first. Doinby gets the initial hit onto Pepper. The CC Dragon contributes. First blood, Rogue Warriors.
Everyone commits to the Scuttle Crab. It is the place to be, and unfortunately for FunPlus Phoenix, they just don't bring as large an arsenal as Rogue Warriors have got for themselves. Everyone commits to the Kindred, stuck inside the Dragon Pit, and just left to die. Loses the mark, will lose the Raptors as well. And that's very tragic considering that she had double buffs. She was set to succeed, and they made that the strategy they wanted to execute. They brought the Shen up earlier. They brought the team to collapse on Flawless, and they got the flash. You thought it was a win. Nope.
It was not. I mean, Kahlua able to time his crowd control with Doinby's snare to lock down Pepper and prevent any flash over the wall. And as that happens, that's double buff onto SMLZ in the bottom lane. What's already a difficult matchup for that Tristana just became a lot more painful. That said,
well,
you can see Chris is actually stepping in. Kahlua, they know he's got no flash. He'll resets it, knock out of mid-air, but he still goes down, and SMLZ tries to trade back with a few shots of his own. SMLZ steps forward, teleport. That's still going to be healed by LWX, and it is canceled by Doinby.
Yeah, cancelled at the last second. The threat was there. The heal was even expended by LWX to close some distance. He chooses to heal opposed to flashing because he wants to stay in the lane as well. So if he flashed away and stayed low health, there might have been extra threat from SMLZ with the double buffs, the constant poke there from a poke AD carry.
Pepper showing some great knowledge of Kindred. Knows that with the other Scuttle still up, just has to time his path towards it, and still ends up with his first mark of the game. So still demonstrating quite a bit of comfort on the champion. We'll see if he can try to turn around that first blood mistake.
Unfortunately for him, whilst it was a mistake, and the gold actually goes over to SMLZ, not just the double buffs, that'll put the bottom lane slightly ahead as well. That extra influx of golden experience does mean a whole bunch to Rogue Warriors in the 2v2. Yes, he'll still be okay, but he's against the jungler that has a bit of tempo on him, a bit of control, may get an extra recall off with an advantage on that recall, the boots being the advantage that you'll note as well. So there's actually a major lead for Flawless in the jungle by being able to take the Raptors, get a free recall, and a better timed recall. Everyone winning from Rogue Warriors, except for the teleport being cancelled by Doinby, just doesn't have the summoner to contribute for the moment.
For the time being, though he is still holding down that fort in the mid lane, Dark Seal and a refillable as his waves get pushed in, even channeling the recall just in case he does get the chance to go back. But Bing trying to demonstrate control in that mid lane, something that he's struggled with in the past. When he's got it, FPX looked great, but Doinby's giving him a run for his money in this series.
I think ultimately what we're looking towards now for Rogue Warriors side when they have that slight edge on the tempo is hitting level 6 for Flawless, utilizing that level 6 to probably just dive the middle lane. Bing's constantly trying to push and perhaps threaten the leave on the lane. He has got a cleanse, but a cleanse isn't going to save you when Flawless gets level 6. He's got the Predator available on his boots, and he's going to have a smite to slow you down, the Chilling Smite available for himself. So that is a very easy lane to kill. In fact, he's doing it at level 5.
Oh yeah, racing down towards the mid lane. Doinby starts the fight Flawless, lands the undertow. Doinby forces the flash with a quick spell flux, but in the bottom lane, you can see a gank is being set up by Pepper.
You know what that means though, Dom? While we're looking at mid lane still.
Another Raptor gets taken.
Oh no, it means he's coming back. The sequel of Olaf ganking mid lane is going to happen at level 6 if he finds a chance. No flash or cleanse onto Bing means it is all too easy with the flash available from Doinby in just over a minute and the teleport there. So Pepper, yes, he's trying to get ganks off in the bottom lane. Honestly, I don't think he'll get anything. Doinby doesn't even have mana. They're looking at the blue buff of Rogue Warriors right now, if anything. And I don't think Pepper can afford to do that when Flawless is so far ahead of him.
Oh, and just as it happens, Pepper steps forward to look for Scuttle Crab. He's got Smite, and he gets it. Second stack.
Yeah,
Just
Flawless
in
doesn't
time.
have Smite.
Yeah.
That's a big win there for Pepper, being able to sneak in and sneak out.
Still, that's 2 stacks on that Kindred, slowly but surely. It's just a matter of the time before the Hunter catches their prey. Still, though, blue buff going to be passed over to Doinby as Gimgoon looking for what could have been a roam in the mid lane.
Could have also just been some deep vision. He's been missing
Yeah.
for such a long time that he could have gone mid. He could have actually just pretended that he warded, something that I know a lot of people will do. You just disappear into a bush, and either they're ganking, they're warding, or they're hiding in the bush, and you can't definitively say which is the case. You can see a control ward in the river for Gimgoon. The perfect example of why that could be possible.
That's where we see that Scion lane control. Teleport for Mouse to get him back as he's going to try to match the items in the lane of the likes of that Scion. Now we see Doinby actually walking over to the blue buff as Bing will take it.
River warding.
Yeah, just trying to maintain vision here. Now Rogue Warriors, they're taking this game a bit slower. No very early aggression outside of that skirmish over the first mark.
Notice, of course, where Doinby is placing his vision and while they're taking this slowly is because Scion is level 6. We mentioned that he could be ulting mid lane. Well, now he's going to be spotted from either the Scuttle Crab that Doinby took or the control ward that he was able to place down. And that is a lot more time than placing a ward in the side bushes of mid lane. There's a lot more opportunity for them to react to the Scion, but it makes it harder for someone like an Olaf to get a gank off unless he places a control ward, which he has, and he's feeling it.
That's the Predator. He's going in. Doinby rides the Realm Warp to catch up. Seismic Shove is sidestep. Pepper is there, but only level 5. This one kill is about to turn into 2. Pepper over the wall. Doinby flashes. Bing is almost bottom lane. Stand united, but Bing still goes down. Another kill for Rogue Warriors.
They don't get themselves the second kill. I don't know if that was a failed flash from Doinby going over to red buff, or if he was actually flashing forwards. But either way, it was a blessing the Shen ultimate came in to try and keep their mid laner alive, and the damage was there from the rise. It suffices. They get themselves the kill, and as you would expect, they push where they have a strength, not necessarily where FPX are weak, and we get to see a trade that happened down in the bottom lane.
Yeah, oh, this is timed almost perfectly. Crisp steps forward. If he wants to use his ultimate, he has to trade. Smelzy leaps forward, and they actually do kill the bottom lane of Killua.
And the advantage there is that they were able to use the Shen ultimate shortly afterwards, try and help their mid laner, and it could have actually been a best case scenario for FunPlus Phoenix if that were to work out perfectly, but nope, their mid laner still dies. However, they have equalized and found themselves with a strength in that bottom lane 2v2, capitalizing on Killua.
So I have a theory, and it's that Killua's level 5 and not level 6 where he wanted to be, whereas Crisp was. Lack of that unbreakable will.
Expert theory.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. It is after a theory only, after all.
With an experience advantage. Hey, with Alistar not being 6, he is much more susceptible.
There he goes. Now he gets level 6. Caught by the CC, and suddenly this trade is a lot scarier. Still heal, ready for LWX. As the piercing arrow doesn't quite catch him in midair.
Of course, major parts of this 2v2 trading, Dom, the pattern that matters the most is if the Shen hits the taunt and has the W available, or if the Alistar hits the combo and is able to get that one off first so that Varus can step up and do damage. A lot of the trades we saw earlier in the laning phase was just Shen hitting SMLZ while Killua zones. Now they can contribute as a 2v2. And Rogue Warriors, they're sick of 2. They're going to bring 4, maybe 5. Mouse is ready. He's got a teleport.
Bringing the whole family to bottom lane. The first Arcane Blast hits onto Crisp. He's able to bounce off of the minions. Already you can see Flawless being pulled away as he wants to control the Scuttle Crab. Pepper just outside of vision, but still Rogue Warriors play it respectfully and instead just focus on denial here.
Yeah, they deny a lot of vision at the Tri-Bush. They force Pepper to perhaps the bottom side of the map, but he can't get through all of the vision that he's set up there from Rogue Warriors already. He's got 2 wards to clear if he wants to actually step up to the Drake, and by the time he gets there, it's already gone. And unfortunately, he just has to clear the vision and walk away with 1 Drake missing. No trade.
Good guy Flawless, even giving over the Scuttle Crab to his mid laner for gold. Ooh, did they have the timer on the flash? Realm Warp is going to get Flawless in. Or not, as he decides not to take it.
It'll get one of them in the end.
Yeah.
They'll take the damage. I could swear he was in it.
Yeah, I know, me too. I feel like that's happened multiple times this weekend. Anyways, still 2 for 2, 1,000 gold nearly for Rogue Warriors as they're just scaling out, playing their lanes. 40 CS advantage for Doinby.
He is doing very well in the middle lane. He was actually about 10 to 15 up himself just from the 1v1 laning before there was any real presence coming out of the jungler of Rogue Warriors in Flawless in this case. But He's able to influence it. He knows where to be. The Predator is available.
That's the Predator.
Oh,
Doinby
they're
gets
diving.
sped up. Chilling smite, but Flash. Flawless decides not to go for it.
Pretty much off cooldown. You have a flash, you no longer have a flash. You've got a cleanse, you may need to use that in the next coming minutes. They are threatening him constantly.
Pepper looking for Mouse up top. He flashes under the turret. Nature's Grasp.
Good
Pepper
cancel.
sidesteps forward. Mouse is still going to be the target here. Gimgoon dodges around. Knockup is timed, and they lock down the kill.
Unfortunately for Maokai, where he lands is still going to be in range of the knockup from Gimgoon. The Scion will lock him down in the end. You actually have to W and then walk forwards a little bit and try and animation cancel the remnants of the W. You can't use a spell, you can't auto-attack, but the timing was perfect from Gimgoon regardless. They secure themselves a top laner, and Pepper, he gets himself the kill as well, which is massive for the Kindred.
Yeah, finally a third stack. Still, though, his target is the likes of Flawless, and he has not been able to get any action on that Olaf, as Flawless is just running around, shepherding Doinby around the map, controlling both his jungle and the river almost completely. And though we do see a kill advantage for FPX by 1, they are having a difficult time in this match. And slowly but surely, Rogue Warriors are just playing their laning phase out.
And it's important to point out the dynamic shift of the Rogue Warriors. Again, for the past week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, we've seen a complete and total focus towards SMLZ. They said he's been playing well in scrims and on stage, so they set him up to succeed. And it could just be as simple as scrim results. Doinby might just be having a berserk week. He's going insane. So now they decide to put the carry focus back towards him. That's actually reflected through the jungle and the mid lane working as a 2v2 as well. And now they go back towards bottom, which is the tried and true, I am Doinby, I'm the one carry on a team type of style.
Yeah.
But this time around, SMLZ is still playing well. They're just focusing around Doinby and Flawless, and you'd have to imagine this is their adaptation to the new patch.
Oh no, Flawless. Oh, you monster. Predator on cooldown. Flash Undertow Cleanse is only going to do so much. Shadow Dash is almost there. Oh, and the
Kindred.
Lamb's Respite over the wall. Realm Warp to get Flawless out of there in between the hitboxes. Ignite ticks,
still
and
dead.
Crisp still gets the
Oh,
kill.
that's so unfortunate. He was in a Venn diagram of life and death. He didn't know where to go, so he stood in the middle, and the Ignite was enough to secure him in the
This
end.
is the part where you die, and this is the part where you live.
Oh.
Oh, no!
Oh,
LWX
LWX
is being ganked bottom. Look at the damage. He flashes away. He's still got the heal, and Crisp is going to tank this in the front, dodging a lot of the damage as Killua goes low.
Teleports in.
Is going to get Gimgoon into the fight as SMLZ uses the heal. Mouse is there to try to stall this. Weaver's Wall is going to get them into the fight. LWX goes low and will go down as Doinby joins up too. That's 3 kills for
Whoa.
SMLZ, a triple.
He's
and
still
what
going.
could be a quadra as he is firing across. Are they just going to dive onto Gimgoon? They certainly are. And oh man, Gimgoon does not stand a chance. Knock up a quadra kill for SMLZ.
Now they're going to run away from dead side. Looks like they're all okay in the end. Rogue Warriors, massive work through their AD carry. We said he's still performing. Well, that's proof in the pudding right there. They get a very successful dive. What started off a bit shaky when it turned around. Crisp comes in, and it actually looked like they might have been able to turn the fight, but no. Rogue Warriors, they get it. They get the turret at the end as well, and the Just Desserts is there for them. SMLZ gets a solo turret. Solo gold on the first structure in the game. Of course, we get to see that dive as it kicks off. Note the jump is gone, so you're able to flash forwards if you're Killua, and unfortunately for LWX, it doesn't actually save him with the ult direction. Now, the W buys a lot of time there from Crisp, means the stun couldn't actually go onto him. The unfortunate thing through all of this, LWX can't really afford to auto-attack, and SMLZ, even though it was a taunt, still has his Guinzu's Rage Blade procced. He's still got the max stacks on it. He's able to contribute maximum damage output. Doinby gets here. They're able to put in some serious work as the rest of Rogue Warriors hard carry the remnants of this team fight, and they find themselves Gimgoon.
The knock up to try to stall it out. 4 kills for SMLZ. Look at that. He was sitting on just the Guinzus before. Now he's got boots and the completed Runons, whereas poor old LWX hasn't got a single completed item to his name. That
It is
being
nothing.
said, yeah, it is. It's quite tough as Scuttle Crab will finally be picked up by Pepper. Still hunting down those stacks, but he might just be too far out of range for the next ones. Yep, looks like the next stack is on his wolf camp. Or sorry, enemy's wolf camp, but Rogue Warriors, they're wasting no time at all with the advantage that they've got on SMLZ.
I
He
just
takes his
don't know.
Guinzu's top.
I don't know at what point, Dom, I would actually look at this best of 3 and say that FPX are playing poorly or Rogue Warriors are playing well. We're about to dive this top lane right now. Teleports are actually coming in for that sole purpose.
Yeah, Killua starts the fight again. Crisp within screen distance uses the Spirit's Refuge. It does nothing. The Refuge!
Oh, he got out.
It does nothing! Kim Koon races away.
very closely, actually skims the side of the rest of Rogue Warriors, just scrapes away to safety. Gimgoon does that very well. Doinby also able to teleport into flank just in case it went poorly in the first place. And ultimately, they're continuing to push. And back to that statement, of course, if this stops and gives me a second, we'll see. No, it doesn't. We don't get a second.
LWX is the target. Doinby has no flash. Oh, but Crisp is there. They know LWX doesn't have a flash either. That's an early snare as Doinby tries to sidestep. Shadow Dash locks him down, and suddenly it's Doinby who's gone too far ahead. The shield to try to turn some damage, but he has died. And Pepper will chase Mouse all the way back home. Still, though, we're seeing the trade for Rogue Warriors. They've turned onto the Rift Herald, and they're pushing mid.
Yeah, they will trade in the end. They'll get themselves an objective, but unfortunately, the bottom lane outer turret should go down. Gimgoon is going to come mid lane and save that structure from dying as well. Don't know if there'd be any threat on diving mid lane. However, Gimgoon is just trying to spook them off. And still, it looks like the Drake actually going to be secured by Pepper as well. So ultimately, if they get the turret, one wave left, then they'll trade up. Yeah, they will.
Trying to break down that tier 1 in the bottom lane. LWX, no explosive shot just yet. Finally chucks it out. Dragon and a tier 1. So Flawless steps into the river, that water walking to help speed him down there, but instead just hands over blue.
And the recipe is simple from Rogue Warriors for the next couple of minutes. They go to Rift Herald, so they're probably going to place it mid lane for the mid lane outer turret. It is the best turret to break with that Herald as well, as that is one of the hardest turrets to take, particularly against the Talia. Now, to do that, they've got a Varus ultimate that they could threaten with. They've got an Olaf or a Maokai they could threaten a dive with as well. And the Rogue Warriors special would be to bring 5 people mid lane to execute on that play. But FPX should know that. It's pretty clear what the next plan will be for the Rogue Warriors. And they've got a Talia, very good at clearing waves, very good at actually using the ultimate to cut people off. They've got a Shen to keep people alive, but most importantly, they've got a Kindred. They can stop you from going in on that turret by standing just in front of it if need be. But the concern there is taking a 5v5 against the 6-0 Varus.
It's quite scary. Now he's got red buff as well. He's been sitting on that gold for quite some time. So we did manage to finish off that other item. Already you can see Mouse roaming towards the mid lane. Doinby has blue buff.
But from FPX perspective, in this case, how they defend the turret, use the banner of command bottom lane, bring the Scion to mid lane, and actually stand there and be a tank to soak before they actually get a chance to use their Herald. Now, he does have the ultimate, I believe. He could just barrel down mid lane, but the turret's already gone, so Herald's just a bit of a wash. The whole conversation is voided because... Oh. Where'd it go?
A moonwalking Herald. Bit confused, though. That does mean that Herald will tragically be wasted.
I think she shuts her eyes when she charges at a turret, so he's very confused. Opened on the charge, like, hang on.
Oh, Flawless has found Gimgoon. Remember, though, Olaf doesn't have any CC. If he can get far enough away, he can just try to teleport away or perhaps even turn the flight. The rest of Rogue Warriors are there. They've managed to catch up to Crisp as it's a 1v1 between Gimgoon and Flawless, but the fight in the front, Crisp flashes away as Killua tries to engage. Pepper eats a huge nuke, but is still alive. That Lamb's respite buys some time, but Mouse over the wall. There's only so far he can go. Gimgoon joins the fight, but Killua knocks him out of the decimating smash. He's now turning for another one, but he's knocked away again. Great play from Killua, and they will finally trade down the kill as it's chaos across. SMLZ is firing, looking to finish it off. Doinby will survive on the back. Mouse trades his life, but in the end, it is 3 for 2.
And still one of those scenarios where Rogue Warriors didn't outright win a fight. It was actually very close because they executed on it a bit awkwardly. Flawless lost his 1v1 against the Gimgoon, who then just ulted down the river, and the Kindred ultimate was very good. And they started the fight of catching them, Rogue Warriors. So considering how close that fight was, that's always that cause for concern, but they were just far enough ahead in gold, just far enough ahead in items, and able to utilize those leads to get themselves a decent fight. Now, things turn here. Rogue Warriors were looking for Scion, and they literally have to turn around because of the presence of Crisp being there. And from this point, they're like, okay, Rogue Warriors, they've pretty much killed everybody. They go to the Scion. But they haven't noticed where the Scion is because he's just done a loop-de-loop, and he's ended up at the blue buff, and he's come into fight. So now battle stations, tank-on-tank battles are going to happen. And Mouse, he's pretty strong. He's not going to have a bad time surviving through any kind of fights that happen. And the carries of FPX, again, they don't just focus the tanks. They don't like doing that. So in what was meant to be a traditional tank versus tank battle, you know he's flashing forwards.
Absolutely.
Without fail, will die flashing forwards. That is the LWX way.
And we talk so much about him being the shotgun, and fires the shot, but this time it will buck back and kick him in the face. He does get a kill at the cost of his own life. Still still 3, 2, and 2 as Realm Warp is used. Look at the whole team. Ooh, they don't quite all get in there. Killua still going to catch up to Bing. Cleanse and Flash gets him to safety. Teleports to get Gimgoon to join the fight. And Lamb's Respite not back off of cooldown just yet as, whoa, Flawless gets absolutely
I think
flung.
they want to fight this.
Oh, they've caught LWX. They know he has no flash, but they cannot catch up. Gimgoon has them in the corridor. A two-man knockup. Pepper on the side is trying to get in, but Flawless zones him away. Still, it's that front to back that Rogue Warriors are able to enforce.
Sion has very good range on his spells to deal with Varus' range. Now, Baron is actually currently going to get threatened by Rogue Warriors. I don't think they want to do the Baron. There's a lot of low health bars, especially on their support. They've been spotted. The bait has been called. The bluff has been called. Rogue Warriors will now probably start it.
Already they're attacking onto it. Killua goes around the side to potentially look for a flank. He's falling back. Gimgoon in the front. They turn now. Gimgoon in the front, but Mouse snares onto LWX. He's dead already. They turn onto Gimgoon, finishing off the tank job that they started earlier. And amongst 5, his corpse can only do so much. 3 members of FPX retreat, and Rogue Warriors now turn their attention to the
Baron will be theirs this time. Kindra can't get into the pit, has the flash if need be, may want to go over the wall. There's an explosive plant, but it'll take far too long to get there in the first place. So they'll push mid lane, they'll set up the wave, and again, Rogue Warriors, they actually want the fight. If anyone comes to them, they will take that fight with open arms. They'll say, let's go and actually take on the 4v4, 5v5, whatever it is. And the reason they want to do that is they have a 7-0-4 now.
Varus on the hunt here, and he has found Pepper.
Oh, he just got like
on the
one
backside. That Shadow Dash, Spirit's Refuge, means it can be submarine, but suddenly Crisp doesn't want to have anything to do with this as he teleports into his death.
And it wasn't just Doinby, the cavalry's also just around the corner. It gets me every time. Why are they not recalling after getting objectives? Well, they're going over to do one more camp, just one more buff.
Just one more.
And every single time the fight happens where that one more spot is, they always find the target. They overreach because no one expects them to.
Oh no, and they're doing
Bing.
it again. Bing, he's just going to stand here and
actually stood still.
He knows it's only a matter of time. Oh, the slam dunk. Rogue Warriors are like the Netflix of all of the teams in the LPL. Because it's just one more. One more, and then we'll go and finish off the base. I guess I'll do the dishes after one more kill.
Okay, so my brain went a completely different direction, and I'm not going to elaborate.
Oh man, they're turning on SMLZ, and now he's just firing happily. 3 items, and he is doing so much. Spirit's Refuge denies all of his damage, and he gets shut down. Look at that damage, it's crazy! As Killua retreats, and Mouse is running for his life, but now the cavalry is here, and it's only Doinby. But still, it's enough. He scares them away, snares down onto Gimgoon. Another follow-up from Mouse. They've locked him away. They continue to dive, but it's 3 versus 4. Flawless is about to catch up, and suddenly racing in Righteous Glory, a righteous finish, and still zoning the rest of FPX back.
Yeah, it'll push them back. They'll still get the turret even without SMLZ, their AD carry. Now, you might be wondering why Doinby would run at 4 people by himself, but not only is he fed, he's also one of the few Rise players that will rush a Righteous Glory as one of his first 3 items. So he's actually super tanky. He's not too afraid of any damage coming out of LWX, and they have put Bing so far behind that Righteous Glory is actually a very smart move here from the Rise. Closing distance on the Tristana who wants to jump away, and constantly being able to catch them and keep them down. Of course, you're looking at the gold differences right now, and that does speak volumes.
Yeah, SMLZ and Doinby are the big names you want to look at. Nearly 3,000 for SMLZ, Doinby nearly 4,000 gold ahead. Woo! That's almost all of the gold advantage that Rogue Warriors have, and it is doing a lot of damage for them.
Just
4
take a second.
Items.
Look at the items that are actually different here between them. There's the Seraphs, the Rod of Ages, the Righteous Glory. That's all there.
10 stacks on
Doinby.
the Dark Seal.
But then, meanwhile, you just peruse over towards Bing's items, and he does have a Ludens.
Oh,
he has
that's
and
actually the Weaver's wall. Yes, he does. Oh man, Chains of Corruption. They're pinned against the wall, but still, they don't want anything to do with this. Doinby is going to teleport in his Flawless, races forward and catches up. Gimgoon already dead, and Rogue Warriors are just steamrolling over this. Doinby is leaving no one left alive along with SMLZ, and LWX is just going to sit and watch as the Bannon minion fires across. Oh boy.
No one is safe anymore, Dom. LWX, even though he is alive, is not in a safe position. He does have a rapid-fire cannon. He may step up. There's not a lot of crowd control to kill him. In fact, they're just going to flash pound the ground angrily as an assertion of dominance. They are the alphas.
LWX still jumped away, though. It worked. It absolutely worked. Still 1 member left. Crisp is back up. Rogue Warriors could be trying to end the game with Thomas the Tank Minion. and they're turning onto the first Nexus turret. Finally, Crisp is back up along with Pepper. He steps forward, but oh man, managed to get the Shadow Dash onto Doinby. The fight is broken out. Spirit's Refuge is not enough. Lamb's Respite is used preemptively and for little to no reason, but still, Rogue Warriors respect it and back away as LWX thinks of chasing.
Yeah, he jumps forwards, and they're going to
Realm
get
Warp.
out.
Are they backdooring?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, they're retreating. Okay.
You calm down.
I was about to be very excited.
Not going to happen. They do go back to base. They've got a lot of money to spend, of course, so they will go and purchase all of those items they have earned by pushing towards the mid lane and getting that inhib. They'll also just wait and, slow it down a little bit more to get some super minions barreling through that middle lane before they ensue any further pushes. Now, the engage in the middle lane, it looks like FPX are trying to collapse. They brought everyone here to try and fight, but Doinby is the member to watch with Flawless because they just both Righteous Glory and they both just sprint at the opposing team. No matter how hard you try and run away from that, the Righteous Glory will catch you.
It's Discount Scion. Olaf racing down. Teleport for Mouse.
There you go. It's a Brolaf composition. I can't say it like you can, but Righteous, there's 3.
Oh, Righteous.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, you see, that's got me.
Demacia Brolaf. Yeah. I got you. All right. Triple Righteous Glory. Holy cow. Rogue Warriors are riding this wave. They are hanging 10 in this game. And FPX are like, yo, sick wave, bro, but let me catch some. quit hogging the ocean, dude.
They said they had the inside on the lane.
inside.
Anyway, let's not continue down the
surfing jokes. All right,
conversation.
Weaver's Wall coming across. Killa was actually left on the far side of the wall, but I don't think they want this as he gets knocked back. And still,
Mouse is
how did he
diving.
get back there? Killa now goes in for the fight, and this is Doinby racing in. There's only so much FPX can do, only so much damage they can sustain, not only to their health bars, but to their pride, as it's again 4 kills for Rogue Warriors.
And that will be the game over, you would have to imagine here. Dom Gimgoon locked inside his base as a tank Rise just machine guns him. Game over.
It certainly is. The Nexus turret falls, and Rogue Warriors advance to 9-2 in the standings.
Distancing themselves just a little bit further from RNG and trying their best to catch Invictus Gaming. It's a hard group to be a part of here if you are Rogue Warriors. The higher you can stay in those standings, the better your playoffs run will always be for yourself, and they are taking the necessary steps towards that victory, exploiting FunPlus Phoenix. The weaknesses on that composition, the weaknesses in the players in the team, all of it was attacked by Rogue Warriors savagely.
Absolutely. I mean, the Discount Scion absolutely worked out. The mobility from the team, you can see handshakes all down the line. Some big smiles from Doinby and to Bing, despite how rough that laning phase must have been. But as it is, Rogue Warriors once again, for the 9th time this season, step to the front of the stage and take a bow.
And I am curious to hear what the analyst desk does have to say about the Kindred decision, because ultimately, I feel like the problem wasn't solely on Bing while they camped him to high heavens. It was that a Kindred couldn't really contribute to being there in the first place. And I do feel like another jungler maybe could have had more impact around the middle lane, especially the levels 1 to 5 to try and keep mid lane more in it. Ultimately, they picked themselves for a later stage in the game. They drafted themselves more for a team composition. And things went awry very early with what happened in the River trade, of course. And that did actually set the ball rolling in a lot of lanes.
Yeah, and of course, this comes back to that jungle-mid synergy. So often we talk about it, but Rogue Warriors seem to be the best exemplification of what happens when it goes right. They're all across the map. They're able to affect nearly any lane they so choose. Even when they're both bottom lane, they race mid before you can expect it.
They are one of those teams where you sit there and, you're watching the LPL, MSI is not too far away. I don't want to get excited about Rogue Warriors. I will not get excited about Rogue Warriors. They cannot snake me.
Ooh.
They cannot get this far into the split and then just start to fall, to dwindle in performance and everyone else gets better around them. But, I mean, this performance, this best of 3 series, it was clean. They were very ready to play, and they just destroyed FunPlus Phoenix.
16,000 gold in a 29-minute Game 2, even faster than Game 1. And Rogue Warriors are so fast at accelerating the pace of those games. Look at those aggressive spikes. Not 1, not 2, but 3 times.
Yeah, certainly the case. They love their Baron plays as well, but it's not just the Baron, it's everything leading up to the Baron. The decisions to camp the mid lane, the place to focus on the map, knowing full well that if you unlock Doinby, you'll get him to come to bottom lane. And ultimately also showing that they can play around their mid lane like they did in game 1, or they can play around their AD carry when he starts getting fed as well, like in that second game. But ultimately, they're all just carrying in the end because they were all getting very fed.
They certainly were. An excellent performance from Rogue Warriors, but Meow, it's time for our analyst to break down that series.
Thank you, Dom. Great cast on the day, apart from all the meows.
Stop it with the meows.
Stop it.
Actually,
Just
stop it.
And now we have that over the way, we can talk about the draft here. And we've had a lot of firsts today, Raz. We've had a Jhin come out. We've had a Kindred now in this game as well. So I'm just going to give you a second to talk about that Kindred and why maybe we haven't seen so much of it recently.
Okay, so it's incredibly risky.
there you go. So let's move on now.
But seriously, Press the Attack got nerfed, so that's a big one where you used to have the 12% amplified damage immediately afterwards. Now it's 4% goes into 12%, so that's a bit of a hit towards Kindred. But, of course, it's a red smite jungler. So it's a red smite jungler in a no green smite world. That should be a positive. The only problem with all of this got stalled out in the red smite. Just a little bit. The one back you have because of the debacle we'll talk about soon enough. You have a 5-minute red smite, which is pretty unfortunate.
But then we have to take a look at why did that happen. It's like, well, Kindred is a champion where you kind of know where Kindred is going to be on the map because there happens to be this thing called marks. And at some point, everyone's going to collide over that mark.
But FPX played this well. They just overcommitted. That's the major issue here. The moment you walk up and Talia's not on the way just yet, this is where the problem comes in. Isolates herself right towards the dragon and immediately gets killed out. That was unfortunate because the level 3 for Kindred is usually the strongest point where she can walk up. Of course, much like Graves, literally a ranged jungler. That should be, I would say, a buff up in and of itself. And the fact that you have a lot of dashes for yourself, you can outplay the axe toss that Olaf has. So there it is. It's the micro that you can look towards. But that one slip up loses you a lot of tempo, especially since Olaf from that point forward is going to have the, I would say, the advantage in every skirmish going forward.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because there are merits to the pick like a Kindred, and you can make it work in this meta. You know, as you said, skirmishes is going to be on the rise, and you can see junglers following suit on that. But we didn't really get to see a game where Kindred is able to get the early spike that she needs and then kind of move throughout the rest of the game. And it was, in fact, a massive spike happening on the side of Rogue Warriors. Now, this is Rogue Warriors. You should know them because SMLZ is going to be an absolute powerhouse of a threat on the team. And what you absolutely do not want is to give him 1,800 gold, 4 kills, and a tower.
Now Shen was just running rampant from mid lane to bottom lane, just trying to protect just about everybody. Goes towards the bottom lane and they try and commit to save LWX. 2 TPs come through. Great timing on Mr. Guang yourself, Maokai, just to be able to match the TP because this was going to be an all-in fight. If Rogue Warriors had their members here first, that's a big win from them. Because not only is LWX not going to be there for the fight, but of course the jungler for Rogue Warriors, the Kindred, it's going to take a long time as well. So 4 kills throughout the entire fight for a Rageblade building, Runan's building, AD carry on the bottom side of the map. So you're like, okay, there goes the spike that we kind of have to run away from for the rest of the mid game.
Yeah, and that just accelerated it so fast, and it meant that every fight from then on was essentially just going to be a wash towards Rogue Warriors, no matter really what you could do in those situations. And this is just, again, in the bottom lane, but this is SMLZ all powered up.
And this is a fight you don't see is, of course, Sion having a bit of a scuffle with the Olaf. The reason why that's going to mean so much is because he ends up joining him. He ends up joining the fight. You're like, perfect. Send down the Sion ulti, and I'm going to about to smash 3 people. He sends out the first Q. Oh, you know what? Killa was like, nah, okay. Pretty short cooldown. I'm going to send out another one. No, again. And so from this point forward, he gets denied 2 times in a row, gets killed out, and you get to see SMLZ build up his Rageblade to the max and just assassinate, if you can call it that, LWX who jumped in.
Yeah, isn't assassination if your target is the one who's engaging on you? Because LWX will take every opportunity he can to jump on you in every given fight. Of course, he was looking for the execute there on the Alistar.
The counter-assassinate.
The counter-assassinate, yeah. And he just stood there and gunned everyone down. SMLZ was an absolute monster in this one. And that pretty much just led through the rest of the game. It wasn't a particularly long game because every single fight went the way of Rogue Warriors.
Yep, it did. Up until the last point of the fight, honestly, the last point of the game when you have 3 Righteous Glories and Arise batting down your towers. So the one fun fact about it, because they were kind of getting stalled and the towers being chipped down, so like, okay, we have one way to force this, you know, force the fight, force the plate, It's going to be in the replay, where legitimately you just toss a tank at you. So this game is pretty funny, especially since Mouse found a backstage access, as you can see, to the top right.
The
of
guy
your
went
screen.
full Gimli right here.
Just look at that. I didn't even see it up until this point. And he's just immediately right behind them. And so that's
Like,
what-
how did he get there?
I didn't see it up until that point. So yeah,
Yep.
Rise just sent him right into the fight. You just use all of your ultimates, use all your righteous glories, run them down, and that was pretty much the end of the game.
Yeah, big bro play coming out there as well. And as you said, the triple Righteous Glory, a pretty brutal composition, honestly, to watch, especially when they're ahead, because they all hit that hockey and they just all run at you. And every single one of those members is going to run you down, and there was no getting away from that composition.
Yes, and so that's where you talk about, well, how did it get into such a snowbally kind of point of the game? Because I like the idea of sending out a Kindred into the game. The moment Kindred falls behind, especially towards an Olaf, the whole point of the Kindred, other than, of course, having your ulti just for those kind of clutch points in these team fights, is to be able to get an advantage in the jungle matchup. Be able to walk up in towards mid lane and be able to pressure them, just send a few autos with your red buff, and you just have immediate impact. And so the fact that he fell that far behind, we talk about him getting a 5-minute smite, red smite that is, just because he was able to get just the item that later on.
Yeah.
So that really put him behind. Olaf at 8 minutes was able to run 2 people down. Pepper was having such a rough time at things, and Bing specifically was just getting ganked time and time again. So no mid lane, no jungler, and that's a quadra kill on the bottom side of that just because he was able to just have that, I would say, obvious setup.
Exactly, and because of that quadra kill and all the gold going over towards him, and the fact he basically just killed everyone on the map, after that SMLZ will take our man of the match right here as well. And, you know, it honestly does take a player on a team to be able to hold all that gold that he had, right? Like, some players will get all that gold and they'll be okay, like, okay efficiency with it, but SMLZ will literally just win the game right there.
12, 1, and 7. On Varus, of all champions, the champion that can start up his own fight, the champion that could literally have the 1 item spike of Rage Blade, as well, of course, later on, Renan's Hurricane. Those 2 items just meant that for Rogue Warriors, they knew they had won the game if they can set up the fights immediately, so that's why Righteous Glories are just being built by just about everybody.
Yeah.
So they can force any fight at any point. It felt like every 3 minutes a fight was happening.
Exactly, and he still absolutely made use of all that gold that he had. It was even more impressive because 172% damage to gold ratio is incredibly impressive when you have that much gold, so you need to do even more with that one. But we are going to take a look at the standings after today and how all of those wins have impacted us. So taking a look at Rogue Warriors now, they are 9-2, definitely on the heels of Invictus Gaming. However, they are getting even further ahead since they are 11 wins and only 1 loss now.
I just feel like the 3 teams in the Eastern Conference, Invictus Gaming, Rogue Warriors, we both saw them today, and RNG, they're just flying. They're flying high. And it hurts for Jingdong. They're trying to cling on to anybody. Just say, please, someone take me to playoffs. And it looks like Sinning Gaming is the only real hope, unless if RNG slips up.
Yeah, they are trying desperately to make something happen. Likewise, FPX as well, trying to scramble into the Western Conference, try and get into those playoffs. But we also have our match of the week coming up later this week, where we get to see some of our top teams clash. It will be Rogue Warriors going up against Invictus Gaming.
Snake Esports.
Snake Esports.
There we go. So
I looked at you, and for some reason your face said Invictus Game. It's not Invictus Game. It will be Snake Esports coming in this one. And of course, again, 2 of our top teams. Snake have looked incredibly dominant. Seems like the Snake Pit is just become the Snake Den right now. Like no one gets out alive. We saw FPX at the very start of the split, and then barely anyone else has been able to win against them since then.
Yeah, and that's why you need to focus onto the Snake Pit. We already see teams after team trying to take that victory, and it feels like SOFM and the mid laner of Guokwo always finding that they can get the lead earlier on.
Yeah, and then let's go ahead and take a look at our schedule coming up later this week. Of course, on Tuesday and Wednesday will be no broadcast days for the English broadcast, but of course you can catch all that action over on the Mandarin streams. However, on March 16th, we'll be returning with Snake versus Rogue Warriors, and then we'll be ending out that day in Chengdu with RNG against OMG.
Match of the week in Chongqing. If Rogue Warrior is going to be able to take them down, I mean, Rogue Warriors just look way too clean as of late. Flawless, looking phenomenal. So I just love the fact that they're just kind of staring each other down in the graphic here. I mean, it's gonna be pretty sick.
Yeah, I just have to talk about SOFM for a second. I've never seen a more badass picture of SOFM. I didn't even know that picture existed, so that's fantastic. I'm glad that's there.
All you people out there, quit folding your arms. Don't do it. Please find something creative. That's a PS.
Not of this either, because we had that in like, what was it, 2015? It seemed like everyone was doing that. So find some more creative poses. I feel like the LPL's got that on lockdown now. I feel like our players have got that.
Some of them.
Some of them.
Especially SOFM.
Yeah, definitely SOFM. So good stuff there. Anyway, that's going to do it for us on our first day of Week 7. Make sure to tune in again on Friday when we'll be returning. But for myself, Raz, everyone on the production team here at the LPL, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon.